Hey guys, I got a great question this morning from a client saying, hey Taylor, I know that everyone's body is different, so therefore there's not a single best exercise for any athletic ability, such as speed. But if I ask you, then what would you say is the best exercise for speed in general that probably works for everyone? And it's a good question because the answer is true. What is good for your speed is really dependent on you and your situation. And that could mean your level of force absorption. That can mean your level of integration across the body. And simple as your level of training history. If you have a long history with different training formats, then that's different than someone that has no experience, where they probably will get the most gains from simply cross-training and playing more sports. But if you have someone that's older, they have tons of history of different training formats, different stimulus, they maybe have some injury baggage that a coach has to think about, that changes the situation. So after thinking about it for a bit, the best answer that I think for anybody that wants to improve their speed is, again, the simplest answer, and it's to sprint more often. Now, when I say sprint, I don't mean doing cardio where you're just running until your lungs break, basically. It's about doing short, targeted sessions of high intensity followed by high rest that you can actually push the max output of what your body can give you. And over the last 2 months, February, we focused on strength, talking about strength that integrates the body, and then stamina, where you build on that strength and multiply how often you can execute actions of strength across, let's say, a match, hour and a half match. So now April is a month of speed, so a very applicable question to this month. The fact of the matter is that if you are doing team training 3 or 4 times a week, I hope in your team training you're actually playing full-sided football or at least small-sided games. But it's very likely that even inside these short, small-sided games, even though it is high intensity, it's very rare that you're actually getting a 30 to 40, even a 50-yard max intensity sprint at max intensity. Because even in a game, you sprinting from goal line to midline, yes, you are sprinting like your best in the moment, but your subconscious knows that you are playing a match. So it knows you have to keep running after you finish that sprint. So it's actually physically impossible that it is your max intensity. There's a reason why track athletes, they're training to run as fast as humanly possible for those 40 meters or that 100-meter sprint, because they know when it ends, it's over. There's no more running. There's not another half an hour to play in the match. So that's why, as a footballer, it would be fantastic if you can squeeze in 1 time a week, assuming that you're in season. If you're in off season, the answer is different, because then you have more room to play with in terms of your load of training and running and stuff. But in season, if you can squeeze out 1 time a week where you can get 6 to 8 max intensity sprints, 40 meters, 50 meters, the distance itself isn't too important. It's just, can you get that window in your week away from team training, away from matches, where you can actually be fresh in your body and not be fatigued too much from your games, where you can actually push the limits of your speed and go 2 to 4% faster than last week. Because that's the key thing. Anybody can train over and over again, but if you didn't improve, some say at least 2 to 4% from last week, then obviously you aren't making progress, and then the running is not beneficial. It's actually inefficient, and you're kind of wasting your energy, and you'd probably be better off by resting and recovering so that your body is more fresh for the next training or game you have, so that you can perform better in that training or game. And going out and doing sprints is not big picture. It's not actually beneficial in the long run. So if you are a footballer and you're in season, I would try and squeeze in 1 session a week, 6 to 8 sprints, 40 to 50 meters, and rest in between each sprint until your heart rate comes back down and you can talk nice and calmly like this without, having heavy breathing. It's not about stamina. It's not about endurance. It's about max output. How much can you put out? So at the end of the month, guys, we are running a speed training where I'm going to be creating a general speed program that is for a footballer that obviously wants to get faster, but ideally they've built up the strength in February, they've built up the stamina in March, and now in April, they're ready to take all that out onto the track and streamline and basically accelerate how well the body can put everything that we've been training already together into one machine and get you going at your max speed. Speed ultimately is basically it is the peak of human performance because you're putting together everything: timing, balance, rhythm, coordination, and of course elasticity, how well your fascia is a driver of movement. So if you guys enjoy this, keep an eye on my platforms for this month. I'm posting all about speed, and at the end of the month we'll have a very moderately priced program for anybody that hasn't been a part of my platform before. This is kind of like a taste test to get you inside, and so you get an idea of what it's like to work with the world's best football performance coach. I'm Taylor, the founder of Football Entangled. Hope you enjoyed this. In the comments, ask me any questions that you want me to cover about speed. If it's a good question, I'll make a video on it. Otherwise, I'll respond in the comments. All the best, guys.